We are actually across the table from each other.
We are across the table from each other, and we're across the table with you, and we're so excited that you guys are joining us today. My name's Kimberly.
I'm Angela.
And we're just thrilled to get this started. Super nervous at the same token.
Yeah, really nervous, and don't quite know what we're doing. This is very new. At first, this is to new things. Let's look up a little tips.
New things.
Okay.
So maybe you're considering doing something new in your life too. We just thought it would be cool to bring you alongside this journey with us. God just put it on our heart to start something brave and to use our voices and experience and also things that we're feeling, even insecurities. So we're going to get pretty vulnerable with you. To start
Maybe not
out
today.
Maybe not today. But to start out, why don't we get to know each other? Do you want to tell them a little bit about you?
Okay, well, before I even say this, when she asked me to create a bio for myself for this, I was sort of like, okay, I know who I am. I've got 4 kids and a husband. And then she challenged me. She's like, but who really are you? And that's kind of what the show is all about, is like meeting us where we're at and, trying to find out, that we're not normal, but who is. And so like, what's different about us other than the fact that we all don't have the same amount of kids and we're not married to the same guy, right? So, that's how we usually identify ourselves. So I think we're going to talk more about that next week, which I'm excited about. But so anyway, so that was a really interesting, just activity for me. So I'm excited. So I came up with like 20 things about me that are random, but it is kind of all about me. So I am a morning person, but definitely coffee first. I actually get up an hour early just so I can have it all by myself. Most people would say that I'm organized, but in actuality, I just like to-do lists, and marking them off gives me extreme satisfaction. I'm a number-oriented person. I was always good at math. I have a degree in accounting, and that really helped me when memorizing a phone number was actually a thing.
Yeah, it's gone now.
yeah. I'm not really a dessert person at all, but I do like my glass of wine while I'm cooking. Does that count?
That counts.
Okay. I am a Jesus girl, and my desire is that everybody will know his amazing grace. I do love my kids and my husband, like I alluded to in the beginning. My husband is my high school sweetheart, and I love my 4 children, all 2 college and 2 in high school. And on most days, many days, you will see me shedding a tear because I do believe that these are the good old days and they go very fast. I am an extrovert, and I am the oldest of 7 in a 2 blended families, actually. I am a people pleaser by nature. Usually the oldest is, so that means I don't really like conflict, but I've learned to communicate my feelings over time. I usually do give people the benefit of the doubt, which makes me a little bit naive at times, but I do believe that most people are good, just like this song. I worry about my kids and often overthink my parenting, like probably all of us. I'm a passionate connector of people, which I know that we are both, that's both of our talents, I guess, both inside my family and out. So when my worlds collide, it brings me a lot of joy. Mm-hmm. I love all kinds of music, but a lot of country because I am a little bit of a romantic at heart. I love chick flicks, and I also like reality shows, as we'll talk about. And I actually want to be on Survivor someday. I have wanted to be on Survivor since the very started.
I could see you.
Someday I will. Someday I'm going to get that courage, like one brave at a time. One brave at a time. I'm an Arizona native that has not been to the Grand Canyon.
I did not know that.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Someday I'm going to go, but then it would kind of ruin that's what I tell people, something unique about me. So, I am a health and wellness researcher. My kids wanted to make sure that I put this in here because I'm always trying to figure out what extra vitamin I might need to better myself. I like to call myself a runner, but in actuality, I go into spurts, and exercise is both my enemy and my therapy. Yeah. I know what it's like to have plenty, and I also know what it's like to wonder if there will be a tomorrow. Ups and downs in life. I love to laugh until my stomach hurts. I am a dreamer, and my favorite place to dream is the ocean. It's the place I feel most alive. And last but not least, I am so grateful for the life that I'm in right this very moment. So very blessed. So now that you know more than you want to know about me, why don't you tell us about you?
So I have some notes because that's who I am. I cannot memorize anything. I have a horrible memory, which is probably the first thing that you should know.
There you
about
go.
me.
There you go.
I am a total research nerd.
You
I
are.
I love all things research.
It's awesome.
I am a lover of guacamole. So if you don't like that, we can still be friends because more for me. I'm a former East Coaster and Pacific Northwesterner. Is that a word?
Oh my good word.
Yeah, okay. And now I'm a lover of the desert. I've been a victim of sexual assault and physical abuse and had health scares. And so I definitely want to get into that at some point. But I am the daughter of a good father. And I am the wife to a saint who travels like a madman. I have 2 full-of-life boys and 1 furry kiddo. And I've always had a hard time making friends, specifically with women.
I can't even believe that. I can't even.
I know, because you and I.
Those that know her would be, no.
But it's true. But I love Jesus, and I found that God is comfortable with me being uncomfortable. And because of such, he placed a burden on my heart for women. And it truly does break my heart when I hear a woman say that she doesn't feel like she's enough. So I'm all like, God, what are you doing by putting this burden on my heart when it's so hard for me to connect with women? But I moved around a lot after high school, and so it forced me to kind of become a pro at cultivating relationships and getting to know other people, both near and far. And Jesus doesn't have to be your jam. I want you to know that. I am an equal opportunity people lover. I do crave deep connections, and more than that, I love seeing others make connections. I think that's been the coolest part since our journey.
Yeah. I think that's what brought us together.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not a great storyteller, but I do love a good story. I can be a good listener, I think.
I think you're a good storyteller too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I found that through listening to people's stories, at the core of it all, what seems to be this overlying theme is that we all desire those deep connections and that need to be seen and to belong and connect. And so we're not all that different, which is kind of cool. And when we do connect, these really powerful things happen. And that's actually how I met Angela. And it's become like this really powerful friendship that we have.
Yeah. Well, maybe now that we've kind of talked about how we are, that we should kind of maybe say how we met, because it's a little bit unconventional. Besides the fact that we live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
But you don't live like next door.
Right.
We definitely live, what, half a mile away?
Yeah, about a half mile away. Yeah. So I moved here just over a year ago. And before even moving, I knew that we were going to move quick. Our house closed, and you'd be familiar with this, in under 30 days, which is crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to connect with other people, women specifically, in my new neighborhood? Because my husband does travel so much. I was desperate for those friendships. And so I got on Facebook, which is the times today.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And I looked and found out that our community actually has a Facebook group that is for the entire community. And then they have a separate one that is for, you guessed it, women. Yeah. So I got on there and I was just like, hey, I'm coming to the community. I need friends. Such a loser thing to say.
No,
like, oh my gosh.
Your posts were so sweet. And like, you would kind of ask about, hey, I'm moving here soon. What's, in this area as far as restaurants, or what, you were kind of wanting to figure it out before you got here. And so I would see your posts and I was thinking, this is, I'm curious about this girl. Like, this is before we actually, I even accepted what you're going to talk about in a minute, but so it was a leading up, your posts, and I could just tell like the way that you responded back to people, that there was something unique about you and something that was telling me, connect with this girl.
Aw, thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah.
So then your post.
And so then we move in and still don't have our house set up. There's I mean, a year later, we still have boxes in our garage. Not even gonna lie.
It's painted now, though.
It is painted finally. That happened just about a month ago. I just said, hey, on this Facebook group, the moms group is where I started, was I'm going to invite everybody over. Hey, I'm desperate. I need friends. And so every Monday, come on over and let's watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Like, don't judge me. I was not even a huge fan of the show. I just thought this is a really great excuse to get some women in the neighborhood to come over. And thankfully it worked.
Yes, and I had never seen the show. I mean, like I said, it's funny because I am a reality like TV watcher, but it's more like Survivor, Amazing Race, like those singing shows, those kinds of things. So I had never seen it, and I'd heard of it, of course, but I'm like, let's just go and meet women, and who cares if I don't really watch the show, right? And then you get there, and of course I'm hooked now, but silly shows. But the more important part of it is the meeting of. Got to meet you, and oh my goodness, how many people now?
So it started off where just, I would say 5 to 10 people were interested in coming over, and probably 3 to 5 were consistent in the beginning. And now we have 50 women that are interested in coming each week, and they don't all come at the same time. No, this is so thankfully,
15 to 20.
I would say right around 20 is the magic number every week, and we just get into the living room and kitchen and circle around this TV. Some of us pop a squat on the living room floor. We just have fun. Half the time, we don't even know what's going on in the show because we're just so busy connecting.
Right, and I love how, so when the first time you did it, there was maybe like 4 or 5 of us, and at that time, I still didn't really know you all that well, and I invited you. I did the same thing that she did on Facebook neighborhood page and posted that I was going to have a women's Bible study in my home on Wednesday mornings, and I'd love for you to come, and you're welcome at my house and whatever. And you responded back to that and came here and met a ton of women, and that's grown too, just by word of mouth. And half of the people that are in our Bible study come now to your Monday night thing.
So it's been really cool.
So it's just like when you connect to one place, when you put yourself out there, it's hard at first. It's really, really hard to put yourself out there, but it's like, it just multiplies itself.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not, I mean, if you can go there and you come home with one person that you're like, I connected with that person tonight, or I want to get to know more, that's awesome. But which is what my original intent was with you. But since then, like I've met you and a tribe.
Yeah, and I think part of the beauty of these groups that we started is that we are confident enough in ourselves to trust blending our friends. You know what I mean? Sometimes you run into that a little bit where
like you don't want them to like,
women are like,
I don't want this person to meet this person.
Protective over their friends sometimes. I don't know why.
For sure.
For sure. And I think that that's part of our passion too, is that we really do love, like I said, not just connecting myself, but to see other connections happening.
Well, you and I talk a lot about connections because we think they're so important. Why do you think that they're important? Like why do you think that they're important, so much more important today? Or do you think they've always been important?
I think they've always been important. I think that God created us for relationship. He said it's not good for man to be alone, for a reason that we do need each other. And I mean, we talk about all the time, you hear that it takes a village, and it truly does. But I'll tell you what, women friendships saved my marriage because like I said, my husband travels so much. And so when I made other friendships with girls, I was able to just tell them the stupid stuff that happens from day to day that my husband really doesn't want to hear about. So when he would come home, it wasn't just like open my mouth and word vomit on him, but it was solid things that he was like, wow, that's adding value, as opposed to, oh my word, I just want to chill out now that I'm home. So it's kind of weird.
No, I 100% agree with that. I had once told you the story about when I, first started being at home with my son when he was really little. I craved connections, and back then we didn't have what we have now.
Mhm.
And I want to talk more about this later, but I don't know if it's better or worse what we have right now. It could be both. But back then, I didn't have that option at all. And I remember even, posting a flyer on the mailboxes, being like, is there any moms who want to meet up at McDonald's?
That's
Because
so great.
yeah, and I met one of my best friends at that time, and she lived 2 doors down. I was there for months, never knew who she was. You don't
Mhm.
we didn't have this posting thing where like we do today, where you could just be like, hey. But anyways, it works, and if it's scary. You're like, I'm feel so silly doing this, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's super important. I do believe that the connections are harder now because we have this social media, and so we kind of think that we're connecting through that. Like we almost think that,
It's a faux friend,
yeah,
right? Where I mean, how many of you, I know I'm like this, where I am best friends with people on Instagram or Facebook that have never even met me, because I'm just like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, I feel this instant connection just through what they've written.
right,
But that's not a real friend because it's so one-sided, where
right,
they're like giving all this information, I'm taking, but I'm not giving back, or,
right.
you know.
It's good that it's a start,
Mhm.
but it also can create like because you're seeing this person on there doing these fabulous things or whatever, it makes you feel like, well, I'm sitting here on the couch right now, I should be doing that too. Or so you're seeing things versus maybe before we had to put ourselves out there a little bit more to get the connections, but like maybe you were just not so concerned with what everybody else was doing because it wasn't blasted in your face, besides like
Mhm.
celebrities on magazines and things like that.
I think it forces us, or not forces us, it actually takes us away from getting uncomfortable. So we lose how to step out of our comfort zone by not having to make real friendships,
Yes.
where we can truly hide behind a computer and connect with someone, and I use that term loosely, but not have to really put ourselves out there and be vulnerable and open up to who we are. We don't have to show any of ourselves, that we can
Right.
just accept all of what they're sharing.
Right. It's true. But you can also take what they're sharing, and it could be a lot of comparison.
Absolutely. So what's that saying? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Right.
Where if we know this is part of my research nerdiness, is that studies are finding that people are suffering more from depression and anxiety, and it's because of social media and getting caught up into that comparison trap.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, do you feel, and again, this could be a whole topic on one of our conversations, but so do you think that we can use social media for good?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think it takes intention, because I made all these connections by putting myself out there. And in the same token, those other women had to accept that invitation to come over. But the reason why we made that connection was truly it started from social media.
Right. You didn't have to go knock on doors.
Absolutely.
Make
So
a
I
flyer.
think that it makes our world smaller,
Mm-hmm.
where you can definitely get to know other people through social media. I have best friends that live on the other side of the country that we met online, but we talk through Marco Polo, which is a video call. And so we make these connections, and we go on trips together and physically are able to be face to face with one another. But I think that it takes a lot of intention and work to go there.
Right. Right. I agree. I think it's a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good, I would advise only to use it if you were using it as a means of really wanting to feel joy for other people, not
Mm-hmm.
as a means of validation for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because that will put you, if you get on social media and you're not in a good place, it could not be a good.
Right. So this kind of goes into another topic that we had discussed, was our identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how so much of social media today, we find validation, or we try to create this identity of what we want to share, but also based on the number of followers or the number of friends or the number of comments or likes or hearts that we get. And that is not our identity at all.
Yeah. That's going to be a good topic to discuss. I know we want to, again, dive deeper into what identity means and how we can figure that out, and in future conversations. What we're doing, this whole idea, you're probably still wondering, like, so what are they doing? We just want to sit across the table from each other and just talk life, because
and have a mimosa.
Right. Yeah. Celebrating today with our mimosas. But, so often that my kids do this. A lot of us do this. We sit and listen or watch mindless things. My kids watch YouTube videos of families going on vacation, or families doing normal things, or doing silly tricks, or, whatever. So we watch a lot of mindless things that are good. I mean, just like watching a television show or whatever. But why not listen or talk about things that are real, that are going on in our lives? I mean, you and I, in order to prepare for this, when we were thinking about this, like, what do we want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. We want to use our voice, and we want to talk about things, because there's so many issues that we're all facing today. And so we actually, both of us, went into coffee shops alone and together on different weeks. And honestly, it sounds kind of bad, but we just eavesdropped. We really did.
Who doesn't want to eavesdrop on conversation?
I know.
It was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun. So I literally was just kind of, just looking at my phone or whatever.
All in the name of research.
Oh, all in the name of research. But listen to conversations between women. And like you said, they weren't conversations that they were going to go home and have with their husband. Mm-mm. And it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't stuff they were hiding. It's just stuff that guys just really aren't them all interested in. So, or they rather just not have a deep conversation when they go home from work.
Right.
That's another, Sure. So we can't, so we hear these conversations, and we just hear things. You can hear things in the grocery store. I mean, now that I say this, let's start listening to the things people talk about. And those are the things that we all kind of are curious about and want to know more about, and want to know what you think and what I think. And not that, and here's the thing, you and I are not experts on anything. I mean, we're just normal.
No,
so
not an expert.
But we just want to talk about it. Like why talk about
We're
superficial
not
things all the time?
talking enough.
We're not.
We're talking about very superficial, high-level things. We want to talk about
we're talking
the
about
real stuff.
You mean, how many posts do we see? I mean, and we're all up to this. Nothing if you post this, but like how hot it is here. Like we all know.
It is hot.
We don't need to say it anymore. No. We know, right?
I retract my last statement.
So why not talk about things that are like that we all talk about? And you don't have to agree with when we ask each other throughout this what we think about this or whatever. You do not have to agree with us.
In fact, we hope that you don't.
Yeah.
It's so good to be able to have difference of opinion and be able to talk about it.
Right.
Like grown-ups.
Right. Exactly. And still be friends.
Yes.
We are in different stages of, I'm the older one.
She doesn't look at that.
No, I do. But I have teenagers and young 20s even, and she's got younger kids. And so we're raising our kids in a completely different world, or we did raise our younger years in a completely different world. And, I was telling her that social media didn't even become anything until my oldest was like 12 or 13. And so my life was not Pinterest worthy back then. Imagine that.
What?
Imagine that. It was not. I look at all the kids' toys now, I'm thinking, I got robbed. So anyway, so we have different perspectives, different backgrounds, different things that we did with our kids. And so we're not like clones of each other by any means. We're just two girls that both love women, really. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
So much. And women just want to be able to have a space where they can talk about the things that no one's supposed to talk about.
Yeah. And today's not very deep. We're just kind of giving you an overview, but we will get into some deeper stuff. We will get into some things that are like, can't believe we're talking about that.
So we just want to invite you. Yeah, we will. We just want to invite you to have a seat at the table with us, and to invite your friends to have a seat at the table with us too. and we will be inviting others to come in that we'll talk to that maybe they are experts.
Right. I would also want to encourage you to do something brave. I don't know if you want to talk about how we are getting into a brave season. This is very brave. This is our brave at the moment. Using our voice and doing something crazy new. She does. She's live a lot. I am not live very often.
My business is predominantly online,
and so is mine. Mine is as well, but not as often as yours. So the live stuff is very new to me. So I'm a little scared. What are you most afraid of in doing this?
I'm afraid that nobody will want to come to the table.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we'll be misunderstood.
Yeah.
As like who are they just to talk about this? Like who do they think they are, sort of thing. So little superficial stuff like that. Like and it's okay. Like just don't watch it. Okay. But also I don't know, like, do I have a nervous tick or like,
Oh, I have so many. I'm going to be playing with my hair. You could probably do a drinking game with how much I'll be playing with my hair.
I always notice, since we talked about The Bachelor, I always notice, like, Hannah, our last season, she always does this with her lip. You notice that? Like, the whole show she does. Like, when she's nervous about something. So we'll see what ours are. You guys can comment and let us know.
It's fine. Let us know. Make fun of our clothes. It's all good. You can make fun of my hair. It's fine.
But do we want to talk more about the Brave or the Courage Collective later, or do you want to talk about it today?
I mean, we may as well talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I learned when I was part of a MOPS group, if you're not familiar with MOPS, it's Mothers of Preschoolers. Highly, highly recommend getting plugged in. If you have a baby in utero through first grade, you're welcome to have a seat inside MOPS. And they also have Moms Next, which is affiliated with MOPS, but it's for moms that have kids that are older than first grade. So you can be part of that too. But through that, I found this newsletter that talked about a Brave Collective, and it wasn't widely publicized, and I didn't understand why. I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just read an article because y'all know I love my research, and I thought it was just so cool. What it is you invite women to have a seat at the table, and you just decide, each of you individually, one brave thing or one courageous thing that you would like to tackle over the next 6 months. And I've changed it a little bit. But then you meet 4 times in that 6 months and talk about where you're at with that brave. Now, since then, I've changed it a little bit to a Courage Collective. And the reason being is because when I was around people that we were in this together doing these brave things, they would be across the room from me and I would see them doing something. We would catch each other's eyes, but there was nothing really that I could do to be like, I got you.
I see you.
So with the Courage Collective, truly the only reason why I changed the name was because I wanted to be able to do a scene and just like when you're across the room from me that I can see.
I love that.
Like that. Or if I'm talking to my kids even about doing something courageous that I can, they can be on stage and see me in the crowd and I'll be like, you got this. And I'm right here with you and I'm proud of you without having to say anything. So it's a little symbol that we have there. Also changed it from 6 months to 4 months because we're busy. And so I found that
to be committed to it.
Yes, you have to attend every meeting. So there's 4 meetings. So once a month is all that you need to do. And I think that that's something as women, we refuse to do. We refuse to take 2 hours out of our schedule
and do something
to do something even just for ourselves. Even if it's just to go get a pedicure. Sometimes that's too much, or we have to be on our phone while we're doing stuff. It's crazy. So this is uninterrupted time to focus on you and to just pick one thing that God has just placed on your tummy that you've just been pushing aside because that's all too scary. And I don't want to do that. Nope, not for me. I'm not that girl. I'm not doing a podcast or a video blog or whatever this is.
Yeah.
But to do it. because it's there for a reason. And then what's beautiful about that is that you create these relationships around a table and you encourage one another and you call out what you see in other people, because so often we don't see our strengths in ourselves. And so hearing it from someone else truly speaks life into you. It's pretty powerful.
Yes, I remember you saying, and I actually recently put it on a post as well, that brave, when you see what somebody's brave elicits brave. And so it doesn't matter, it doesn't what your brave is, I just to use my voice right now. My whole word this year was growth. That way every year I pick a new word, and I actually encourage the people around me to pick one as well. And so my word is growth. And so in order for me to grow, I needed to be brave, or in this case, have courage. And I recently, watched Brene Brown, and she says that courage equals vulnerability, even though we're not taught that. Mm-hmm. We're taught that vulnerability is weak. Mm-hmm. And, but you can't really have courage without being vulnerable. Otherwise, you're just kind of egotistical, I guess, trying to think that you can do it all on your own,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's really been a kind of a light bulb for me.
Yeah.
And so this Courage Collective that she put together, it's starting soon. There's groups all over starting, right?
Yeah. So it's crazy. Again, social media, this is the beauty of it, is that I put it out there in our community group, and I put it out on my personal Facebook page and even on my Instagram. And now we have people all over the country doing this. And my name isn't attached to it. It's not my idea. I changed it a little bit, but I truly put together a package and it doesn't have my name on any of it, so that you could just take that, run with it, and never have to see me again. But I think that the cool part is that every table has 3 to 8 women around it. One person told me 15. That's too many, but I'm okay with that. But that many women are going to have a space at a table, and think of how powerful it is that we're all doing these courageous things at the same time that we're seeing our unique abilities and talents, and it's just going to create this ripple effect. And so I'm really excited about it.
Right. And the coolest thing about this is that she made this and created this, so she had the, I guess, permission to charge, like, hey, if you want to do this in your house, like, here's the packet, just like when you buy anything, you buy a book or a Bible study or whatever it is that you're buying for a group of people, you usually pay for something. I mean, it's not unheard of that you pay for something, and she's just literally handing it to you if you want to do it for you, which I think is awesome. It totally shows that she is just wanting women to connect, wanting women to be brave, and encouraging that. And so this isn't like a business thing. This is just to encourage women. And so I'm sure that if you want it, that she would be happy to send it to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or get into a group that's already formed.
For sure. Yeah.
As we have some that are coming in August.
It can be scary to start your own. Courageous. What might even say?
But you have all the materials.
You do. And
there's nothing like you have to create.
Super casual. It's just really getting your girlfriends together around a table once a month. Yeah. That's all that it is. Yeah. So yeah, I would be more than happy to share that with you. I don't think that doing things like this, that taking courageous steps, I don't think that making friends, I don't think that having people into your home should be something that we charge for. I think that it's a priceless thing. And so I want to make sure that it's open and available to everyone.
Awesome. So we encourage you, whether you get into a Brave Collective or a Community Courage Collective or not, to do something brave this week. Like something that you haven't done in a while, that you're just like, it's on your radar. Maybe it's an exercise. Maybe it's, just doing something for yourself. Like you talked about, not feeling guilty about it. Your kids are going back to school right now, and we all maybe have a little bit of extra time to do something for yourself, and self-care,
Yeah.
So
what's something courageous that you're going to do this week besides that?
Yes. Well, I mean, I've done this before, and I've done it every year, but every year or not every year, but the past couple of years. But every year it's still a brave thing. I have to bring my daughter back to college tomorrow.
So hard. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How are you feeling, Mama?
I'm a little bit better this year. Last year, I held it together the entire time I was moving her in. She was a freshman, and I held it together the entire time when she was moving in. And I was literally walking back to my car, tears streaming down my face. And This Is Me, that song came on over the like loudspeaker in the community, like over loud, and I was just bawling. I was like, thank you, Lord, for giving me that song, that she's gonna do fine. She's gonna be fine. And she has flourished. And so she's excited to go back. And so yes, so it'll be a little bit of as always, change when one kid's gone for a while. So she comes and goes, but the living part,
Yeah.
So that's my mama brave.
I love that so much.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh gosh. So I was asked if a friend of mine, whom I'm not super close with, if she could stay in my house because she is moving her daughter in to the same university this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She lives up in Washington.
Okay.
And she's like, do you have a place to stay for us? And I was like, yes. And I think, and I know like I host and everything, but I think the most vulnerable thing that anyone can do is open their home to people. And I think what makes me really scared about this is that she is a professional house cleaner. Like she owns her own cleaning company. And so I'm like, everything has to be perfect. And I know that's so like us. Funny.
Do you think Scott's even thinking about that?
Not at all.
Right?
In fact, I'm like, babe, I've got to get
this is so us. And it sounds so stereotypical to say that, but it's just how we think.
Oh,
It's not that we feel like we have to do it all, but like that's just our minds. And we're like, oh, well, so-and-so's coming. And that's what this is all about. Like, you're not weird for thinking that.
No, totally weird.
No.
But I'm glad other people are weird too.
I would be the exact same way. My husband says that before I host an event, like if anybody's coming over, whatever, even though I have it all clean, he's like, you're kind of a lunatic for like the hour before anything starts. Like everything has to be in its spot, and like, and then I literally could care less when anybody walks in the door if everything gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. Like I have to know that I did what I was supposed to do. I keep a little list. I told you I'm into lists. I keep a little list of everything that like needs to be done. My kids are like, okay, Mom, it's crossed off. We're done.
That's good. Oh my gosh, I need to make lists.
I need to teach. If you're not a list maker, I don't know if we can be friends. Well, maybe we should wrap this up now. I'm not sure how long we've been talking, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to meet back with you guys again next week.
Yes, me too. Until then, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to our table. Have a great day.